let's dive in. This is A Matter of Time by Justice3442. Still gonna have to get used to saying it like that. And by the way, Justice, if you ever do listen to this reading, we just have to say thank you again for the lovely writing. And once more, I didn't really expect I'd be reading this on the day of that you posted it, but hey, hope you like it. So,
I'm probably gonna have to remember to send it to him then.
All right. Now, I should know, this story starts off right as Starlight is beginning to tear up the scroll containing Stars for the Bearded Spell, so we have our starting point, so... I thought Sunburst and I were the same, Starlight Glimmer said in an angry tone. But we turned out different, and it tore our friendship apart! She screamed tearfully as the scroll she held aloft with the magic was torn further. Oh dear.
Yeah, we know how this kind of went.
I still cannot let go of that scene. Like, Kelly Sheridan really can perform well as Starlight, you know? Yeah. Anyways, Twilight suddenly flapped her wings, rising above the cloud she stood on as Spike held onto her back. Spike looked down at Starlight with a sympathetic expression. "So try again," Twilight said. "Make new friends. And if something you can't control happens that changes things..." Spike raised an eyelid slightly. "Work through it together. That's what friendship is. And it's not just my friendships that are important to Equestria. Every pony's are. When yours ended, it led us here. But just imagine all the others that are out there waiting for you if you just give them a chance." Excuse me," Spike said. "Huh?"
God damn it, Spike!
Had soft. What?
God damn it, Spike! Shut up.
Sorry, you're kind of chopping up a bit because the reception on your end's kind of weird for some reason.
My headset's probably going in and out.
Anyways, how do I know they won't all end the same way? Spike raised his hand. "Hello?" Twilight glanced behind her. "Just a second, Spike. I guess it's up to you to make sure they don't," Twilight said as she descended to the cloud right in front of Starlight. Spike interjected. "See, that's what's bugging me." "Huh?" Twilight turned her neck as best she could to look at the dragon on her back. Starlight looked up at Spike as well with an inquisitive look.
What?
Spike motioned to Starlight. "If she could travel through time to any point, why focus on this moment in time?" Spike asked as a sonic rain boom suddenly turned the sky beneath the group into a brilliant display of colors. Starlight sighed and brought the scroll closer. "Reset," she said in a tired tone. "No, wait!" Twilight pleaded. Spike nodded. "Yeah, you can do that whenever you want. You might as well sit and answer my questions for a bit." Starlight let out an exhausted sigh and sat down on her haunches. Twilight turned again and attempted to scowl at the dragon. "That's not... Wait, what questions? You have more than the one?" "Well, yeah," Spike answered. "Twilight, she can travel through to any point in time. Why didn't she go back and make it so she succeeded with her equalist plot? Instead, she's fighting you to a standstill time and time again. Even there, she could have gotten some help. Heck, she could have gone back and fixed her friendship with Sunburst." Well, those are three rather decent points.
Yeah, come to think of it, there has been some holes in the plot that people kept whining to me about.
Well, I mean, the first two points are kind of wonky, but the third one does make the most sense. I mean, going back in time to fix up things with Starburst. Sunburst, my bad. Twilight pursed her lips as her eyes went wide, then turned to face Starlight Glimmer. "Those are all excellent points. Why didn't you do any of that?" Starlight let out a long, continuous moan of annoyance. You two better get comfortable. This might take a while."
Ooh,
Twilight
boy.
lowered herself onto the cloud, laying on her belly as Spike leaned forward, propping his head up on a cloud as she laid on top of Twilight's back. "So, of course the first thing I did was to arrange time, so I ended up achieving my dream of Equestria-wide equality. And it begins."
Let's see what happens.
And Incard is already like, "Oh, we fucked up the timeline, better play the Song of Time."
That was earlier, though, so...
Yeah. Starlight grit her teeth as the turquoise glow of her hoard flickered in the dark night. In front of her was a modest two-story cottage, a hammer coming down on a nail with a thwack. With a rather annoyed expression on her face, Starlight whipped a foreleg across her brow and gently folded the hammer to the ground. "There! after destroying all of Canterlot Castle, I finally made a new cottage for myself.
What?
Yeah, you heard that correctly. She apparently destroyed all of Canterlot Castle in this timeline.
Another one? Wait, what?
We're going through the alternate timelines again. Now we're seeing what would have happened if Starlight actually had succeeded with her equality thing.
Let's see what happens then.
Right, so new cottage. A large group of ponies, all bearing the same equal sign cutie mark, all wearing the same symmetrical, too perfect grin, gently clap their hooves together. Yes, thanks, Starlight said in an exhausted tone. Now, if you all don't mind, I can use some An Earth Stallion male with a pure white coat raised a forehoof. Just a second, Starlight Glimmer. What is it now, Double Diamond? Double Diamond turned to a dark blue Pegasus mare. Night Glider, would you do the honors? Night Glider flew up to the chimney of the cottage, pulling out a tape measure. She hooked it to the edge of the chimney and then descended to the ground, making sure the flexible tape measure stayed flat against the roof and the side of the cottage. Starlight buried her face in her forehooves. Oh, equality, not this again. Oh boy, I actually remember skimming through this part. I am getting callbacks to the other Starlight fiction that he wrote, with everybody going nuts about the whole equality thing.
Oh god, please don't remind me.
And going on. Night Glider brought the tape measure all the way to the ground and eyed it closely. It's a few millimeters larger than it should be. The cottage is too tall. Or too wide. It's hard to tell. Double Diamond nodded. Alright, tear it down and try again.
Son of a bitch.
Starlight Glimmer lowered her hooves, revealing a rageful face. But this is the 5th cottage! I know I've taught you all the value of equality, but this is too Starlight Glimmer! Male voice called out, Double Diamond! Oh, what now? A male blue unicorn with a two-toned blue mane and a pink unicorn with a purple mane trotted up. Rectangular metal red canisters floated behind them as they joined the group. Oh god. The pink unicorn announced happily, "We just finished burning down all the corn we could find!"
What?
What? Starlight exclaimed. Sugarbell, Party Favor, why the fuck would you do that? Sugarbell and Party Favor exchanged a confused look as if they were just asked the most obvious question in the world. They answered in unison, because corn grows taller than other vegetables.
That is why equality is such a bad idea.
Exactly. So that's plan A out of the question.
Okay, let's see about plan B.
Twilight stared in silence for a moment, blinking as she tried to process what she just heard. Wow, was the only response she could muster. Yeah, Starlight said as she sheepishly looked away. I may have pushed the idea of equality a little too much.
Quite.
That is an understatement, Starlight.
Especially when you want to be the leader of the whole goddamn thing. Unequal!
Yes, Spike spoke up. Hey, if you traveled in time to run the equality movement, doesn't that mean you would have met yourself? Yes. What an obnoxious snob that pony was.
Was?
Spike raised an eyelid. Okay, Twilight said, but what about you getting help? Starlight's eyes went distant. That was even worse. Alright, plan B. Let's see how that went. So, Trixie... Oh...
Fuck.
Starlight said as she and the other unicorn crept through the dark castle. We are going to, put an end to Twilight at some point, right? Trixie giggled as her horn lit up with an amethyst glow. She pulled a book from the vast library shelves, then reshoved it a few shelves down and up. So they are inside Twilight's castle.
How did Trixie get in? How did they
I'm not
even
gonna
get
question.
in?
I have no idea. Trixie! Starlight said with more force. All we've done since we've got into the castle is reshove books where they're not supposed to be. Please tell me you've got a better plan than this. Trixie gave Starlight a sly look. Oh, ye of little faith. She shook her head. Only a novice goes in for the kill right away. Trust me, I know how to push Twilight's buttons. Me shelving books is but the first step in the great and powerful Trixie's plot to drive Twilight insane. Starlight smiled up slightly. Alright, what's part 2? Trixie smiled and began to trot up a flight of crystalline stairs. I'm glad you asked. Follow Trixie! Starlight followed Trixie up the stairs. Soon the two were in Twilight's bedroom. Oh, fuck.
Uh-oh, this is not good. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going to go. Well, I also seen enough murder mysteries to know where this is going to go, too.
Twilight snored gently in her bed, a book draped over her muzzle. Starlight chuckled malevolently. Poor, helpless Twilight Sparkle. If she only knew how easily I could snuff out her life. Oh, so this is one of those stories where she's actually looking to kill Twilight.
Seriously? Outright kill her?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Trixie
fucking dumb.
What?
That's fucking dumb, and also not so PG.
Yeah. Trixie trotted up to Twilight and gently pulled the book off her face with magic. Of course! That's part of the excitement, isn't it? So easily getting into Twilight's sanctuary while she sleeps. Trixie looked over at Twilight with a hungry look in her eyes. She grinned widely and wildly as her horn glowed once more, lifting the covers of Twilight's bed and gently putting them over the slumbering prince. Huh? What are you doing? Starlight asked. Trixie looked up from Twilight, still smiling with a hungry look on her eyes. Want to take turns licking Twilight's face? Whoa!
Wow! I got nothing.
Me, let's move on. Starlight's eyes shot open and she found her head quacking involuntarily. A tremor that would go all the way down to her body. So it's quaking, my bad. What? No! Trixie sighed. Fine. Go down to the kitchen and fetch some sour cream for Trixie. I just checked their fridge for snacks. There's a whole tub of it. What? Sour cream? Trixie nodded. We'll put some on her hoof and then hide outside the window. If we use magic to tickle Twilight's muzzle, she'll rub it all over her face. It's hilarious. She still thinks Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie are the culprits. Really, Trixie?
Trixie, this is kind of lame compared to you actually taking over Ponyville with that alicorn amulet.
That's your big plan? Starlight exclaimed.
And she's thinking the exact same thing I am.
Trixie blew a dismissive gust of air. As if! Tomorrow night we'll sneak in and use something else! Trixie let out a dark giggle. Do you have any idea how hard it is to scrub honey out of a pony's coat?
Trixie, this isn't revenge.
This is elementary school level pranking. Step your game up. An in-card as it right. This is low, Trixie, even for you.
Everybody's going, Trixie, you are so stupid now.
Yeah. Starlight's jaw dropped. Trixie thrust her muzzle into the air and trotted into a large walk-in closet. Now, if you'll excuse, Trixie, I have to check Twilight's closet for clothes she hasn't washed yet and smell them while I rub my face all over them.
Trixie? I think you should seek help.
Yeah. Starlight looked downward, placing a forehoof against her forehead. This can't be happening. Trixie gasped. Yes! It's the mother load! Ecstatic moans began to drift out from the closet. Come here, you dirty, dirty socks! Trixie wants to swim in you.
No comment.
Yeah, moving on. Starlight puffed out her cheeks as she covered her mouth with a forehoof. Suddenly, a red glow and buzzing sound filled the room, causing Starlight to jump. She glanced over to a desk where a book bearing Celestia's cutie mark glowed brightly and vibrated noisily. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. This could only mean one thing.
Trixie muttered from inside the closet. It's that Sunset trollop again!
Jesus!
The fuck's a trollop?
I'm thinking whore.
Trixie poked her head out of the closet, a pink and purple striped sock dangling off her horn. Just write something mean and hurtful into the magic book. It's what... Starlight? Uh-oh. Oh, God, I actually know where this is going. Starlight smiled wildly at the orange bipedal woman. Oh, shit, she actually did go through the mirror.
Oh, fuck.
She smiled wildly at the orange bipedal woman sitting across the small round table from her, pushing past the unfamiliarity of her own body and the clothes she was wearing. Though she had to admit she did quite like the buttoned-up purple shirt, black tie, and equalist armband on her left arm. Though she could have done with something a little less revealing than the short black skirt which bore her cutie mark. The unicorn-turned-human known as Sunset Shimmer had agreed to listen to her. Though the journal suggested she was reformed, Starlight had calculated her words carefully. Sunset seemed very much a kindred spirit, and the fiery-haired woman had listened with obvious interest.
I thought it was bacon-haired, but oh well.
The small conference room had gone quiet as Sunset took in everything Starlight had said. Oh, God. Well, I certainly understand being mad at Twilight Sparkle, but if you've read the journal, you know I've been trying to make up for my past. What makes you think I'd suddenly turn on her? This is a good point. Starlight's smile widened slightly. She had expected this. Sunset Shimmer certainly had an analytical side to her, but she was also a very emotional pony. It was time for the coup de grace. Oh boy.
Nightblaze is not weak. She didn't do the weak pranking with obsessing over Twilight's dirty clothes. That was Trixie's bit. Starlight was just wondering why.
Starlight was smart about tricking Sunset. Anyways, reading that journal almost made this too easy. This is her thoughts, by the way. Everything was there. This girl's details about the portal. She may seem reformed, but there's an anger that lingers. An anger that... What? Starlight cried out in alarm. She quickly used her left hand to pull her right one out from under her skirt.
Dirty thoughts.
Moving... She looked at Sunset as her face flushed red. I'm sorry. I'm not used to having hands, Sunset said simply. Starlight nodded. Yes, hands. She lifted her new human appendages in front of her face. These things are always touching me in places. Sunset nodded. Yeah, they get around.
Quite well.
Moving on. Anyways, Starlight leaned forward in her office chair and placed the hands behind her back. Look, I know she stole your life from you. And, what's more, you obviously were the one who solved that little problem with your friends when the sirens attacked. You can't possibly be happy she's the princess of friendship and you're just a high school student whose most important job is mediating who gets to sit in the front seat. Ow.
I don't think that was how it went.
Huh?
Yeah, I think you didn't research Starlight, because if memory serves me, it was explained in both comics and a movie. Sunset was actually one of Princess Celestia's pupils before Twilight Sparkle.
Yeah, that details go over your head, you're a quality horse. Anyways, one of Sunset's eyes raised ever so slightly. Starlight smiled again. Think about it. Revenge against all that have wronged you. Together, we can easily take out Twilight and even Princess Celestia herself. Sunset leaned back in her chair and raised a hand to her chin. She stroked it thoughtfully. So let me get this straight. You're a unicorn, that's right, who's mad at Twilight Sparkle. Correct! She ruined my plans for taking over Equestria. Admittedly, those didn't turn out quite how I thought they would. Sunset seemed to flinch ever so slightly. She continued, and your specialty is magic. Starlight Glimmer nodded, grinning to herself. I might even be Twilight's equal in that regard, perhaps her better. Starlight's smile turned grim. With what I've discovered, Twilight will never see my plans coming. The delicious irony of it all is I'll use my own magical knowledge to prove I'm the better unicorn once and for all. I see.
Awkward silence.
Sunset Shimmer immediately sat in her chair, no expression on her face. I don't get it, Starlight thought to herself. Certainly a girl this emotional must be feeling something. Oh, she is feeling something, considering this is considering how Justice has portrayed Sunset in all the fanfics we've read.
Let's see if it's gonna go this route. Let's see.
So do you want in, or... Sunset Shimmer suddenly leapt from her chair, clearing the table and landing on top of Starlight Glimmer, bringing her to the ground with a resounding thud as the chair tipped over. Before Starlight Glimmer could react, Sunset had pulled back her fist and sent it sailing forward. Ah! What? Why? Why are you doing this?
What the hell?
She's kicking Starlight's ass, it seems. The door suddenly flew open. A trio of female humans stood behind it. Sunset, darling, Rarity asked. We heard a noise, and goodness gracious, Sunset, what are you doing? Sunset continued to deliver blow after blow, not missing a beat as she responded to Rarity. Bargain bin copy pony thinks she can just walk in here and steal my shtick. Feather's grin crossed her face as Sunset wrapped her fingers around Starlight's throat. Jesus, age Sunset.
Zempony was thinking lesbian sex in the chat, but he was wrong. Oh, so wrong.
Starlight struggled for air as she tried to pry Sunset's hands off her neck. And I'm going to kill her, Sunset said darkly. Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie rushed in, each one grabbing one of Sunset's arms as they attempted to haul her off Starlight. Starlight took a much welcome breath of air. No, Sunset! Pinkie pleaded. Go to your happy place! Sunset struggled against Pinkie and Rainbow Dash. I am in my happy place!
Oh my god! This is a call out to cafeteria control!
I know! Speaking of that story, Rainbow Dash said, Whoa, calm down! If you're gonna choke her, at least wait until Applejack can take some bets on how long the girl will last until she passes out! Like you said, call out to cafeteria control.
Totally.
Starlight coughed and sputtered. What? Woo! Pinkie said. I want in on that bet. I bet the new girl lasts at least 30 seconds.
Oh, fuck.
Rarity pressed her fingers against her forehead. Not this again. No way! Rainbow Dash replied. Sunset strangles really hard. Applejack suddenly poked her head inside the room. What's this about bets?
Ooh, one on time. Excuse me.
Below Applejack, Fluttershy popped her head in as well. Is Sunset giving out free strangulations again? With great effort, Starlight pulled herself onto her feet and began rubbing her neck. You're all insane! Yeah! Sunset agreed as she continued to thrash against Pinkie and Rainbow Dash's grip. Now let go so I can murder her!
I want to commission that picture. If only I could.
Maybe the guy who did that pic for Cafeteria Control will do this too.
Oh, that Godforth guy? Well, I don't see him.
Yeah.
I don't see him in here. Oh.
Maybe if we ask him, I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe.
Anyways, so that's also Plan B next. So
back to Twilight.
So Plan C. Twilight asked, "Okay, but what about your friend Sunburst?" Spike looked down at Twilight in shock. Are we just going to ignore the fact that Trixie breaks into our home to play pranks on you and do weird things when you're asleep? Not to mention everything she just said about everyone at Camelot High. Twilight glanced behind her. I like reshelving books, she answered simply.
Yeah, she spent 3 days reshelving the whole goddamn library.
Yeah. Spike narrowed his eyes. Okay, but that doesn't... Twilight turned back towards Starlight. So, what about your friend? Tears began to well up in Starlight's eyes. How did that go? Twilight pressed. Starlight's lip began to quiver. I can't. Here, I'll show you two. The time portal opened up above the trio, glimmering as it sucked all three upwards. With an unceremonious thud, all three found themselves in a long hallway, the walls covered end to end in white lockers, only interrupted by the occasional doorway. Twilight immediately stood up as her eyes widened. It's the hallway at Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns. Oh yeah, that's right, because remember from the season finale, Sunburst went here when he got his cutie mark.
And Starlight didn't even bother to write him a fucking letter.
Well, let's see. Spike sat up and began to dust himself off. Alright, but say— whoa! With a turquoise glow, the pair soon found themselves dragged into one of the spaces in front of a doorway. Starlight raised her forehoof to her lips. Shh. Twilight and Spike went silent as they heard a familiar voice. But you still got an A+! Starlight's voice said pleadingly from down the hall. The trio heard the sound of approaching hoofsteps as this other Starlight continued. You're still valedictorian! Yes, a male voice answered, but thanks to you, my perfect score is tarnished! Uh-oh.
What happened?
Twilight slowly leaned her head out. That voice! It's Sunburst! You know that pony? Spike asked as he too leaned out. Oh boy. This is probably one of the darkest bits of this story, so...
This might not end well. Oh boy.
Starlight didn't look, opting instead to hug her back legs with her forelegs as tears streamed out her eyes. Twilight nodded as the two ponies down the hall continued talking. He was valedictorian a few years ahead of me, though I was too busy with my own studies to really get to know him. Starlight said meekly, You're lucky. Twilight and Spike glanced back for a second, then down the hallway again as the scene unfolded. Starlight's voice began to break. But you still got over 100% in every class! The orange stallion with white markings shook his head. They may say 100%, but think of all the extra credit you cost me. I tried as hard as I could. I'm sorry. I just didn't have enough time to do both our work and make sure mine was always a little worse than your own. Well, you should have worked on your time management skills, it seems. Starlight swallowed. I tried! I even found this old spell by Starscroll the Bearded, and I figured it out. Sunburst swatted a hoof across Starlight's face, making a solid whack as it made contact. Oh!
Jesus!
Well, this got dark.
Quite.
Twilight and Spike gasped. The older Starlight clenched harder, as if she was trying to shrink herself through pure physical strength. The younger Starlight merely went silent, her chest heaving with silent sobs. It's too late for that, Sunburst exclaimed. Instead of wasting time working on magic that's too advanced for you, you should have studied harder. Sunburst shook his head. Guess I just don't need your friendship anymore. Ooh.
Oh, fuck. I don't like this anymore.
In this timeline, Sunburst is one of those assholes.
I kind of like the other idea.
The younger Starlight let out a cry of despair, causing the older Starlight to cover her ears. No, please! I don't know anybody else! Don't leave me alone again! Sunburst smiled wickedly. Oh, Celestia, just look at you. You're pathetic. Where's my shotgun? Starlight let out powerful wails that wrecked her body. I know! So please don't! Shut up. Ugh. Wow. Zen Inkard said the best, right in the feels. Starlight immediately closed her mouth and tried to stifle her sobs. Her body quaked as it attempted to hold back barely contained sadness. Spike began to step out. I can't just sit here and... Whoa! Spike soon found himself pulled back into the older Starlight's tight embrace. Stop doing that! Spike said. Don't interfere, Starlight said simply. I deserve it. What? Starlight, no pony deserves... Starlight turned back to Spike. Shh. Spike, this is important. Oh, man. Spike sighed to himself as Starlight clamped tight around him. Friggin' ponies, man. You're all a few apples short of a bushel.
Shut it, Spike, like you're any better. You have no room to be talking about the other ponies when you couldn't even do princess-like duties. I'm still pissed at you for Princess Spike.
Yeah, I guess we'll give him that. Sunburst continued. Fine. I'll still be your friend, on one condition. Starlight's face suddenly lit up. Yes, of course, anything! Sunburst smiled wickedly. You have to do everything I tell you. No more screw-ups. Starlight nodded her head up and down. Of course! I promise! I'll try harder from now on! Wow. Huh?
Really? Wait, 9 places going, is it wrong I find pleasure in watching Starlight getting owed?
That's your cup of tea, then I ain't gonna stop you.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah. Spike found his way back to the doorway and peeked out from under Twilight. To his surprise, Sunburst was now gently caressing Starlight's face where he just smacked it a little bit ago. That's my little Starlight. Oh, again, he's one of those assholes. Well, I have a speech to give. He walked past the younger Starlights, smacking her on the flank as she did. Oh, God.
I don't think I want to know where this is going.
See you and your flank at the party. And the after party. The younger Starlight turned with a sad look in her eyes, lifting a hind leg and pulling it inward as she did. Spike's eyes narrowed. I'm going to melt his face off.
Shut it, Spike.
Starlight's eyes widened and she suddenly reached for Spike, pulling him close once again. Hey! Twilight turned and wordlessly put a forehoof to her lips. With a purple glow from her horn, a similar glow suddenly covered herself, Spike, and the older Starlight. Spike watched as the ponies in his own claws suddenly became translucent. Sunburst suddenly poked his head past the lockers with a quizzical look, staring right at the 2 unicorns and the dragons, but his eyes moving back and forth like he didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Spike glared fiery magma daggers at him as Starlight held her arms around the dragon's mouth. Twilight stopped breathing as Sunburst's head inched closer to hers, the pony seemingly searching for something. Sunburst suddenly shrugged and continued to trot down the hallway, a depressed Starlight glimmer walking behind him. The trio waited for the sounds of hooves clicking against tile to stop. After a few seconds of silence, Twilight dropped the spell and Starlight let go of Spike. Spike exploded into an angry tirade on the spot. What an unbelievable horse apple! I've never seen any more of a deplorable pony in my life! It's just awful what he's doing. I can't believe some pony like that is just allowed to walk around and worse yet, become valedictorian. Valedictorian, Twilight corrected. Whatever! Spike cried out. Twilight, you can't just let this continue. We have to... Starlight interrupted. Now you see why I didn't pick this. This is what a fixed friendship with Sunburst looks like. His cutie mark meant he got to go to Celestia's school for gifted unicorns. Spike gave Starlight a confused look. Okay, but what does... He never wrote to me. Never tried to get in contact with me. I guess he didn't need a blank flank like me anymore. Ah. Wow. Spike's entire body seemed to shake with confusion. But you obviously got your cutie mark, and in magic no less. Starlight nodded. I went back in time and made it so my younger self got to go to Celestia's school for gifted unicorns. Why didn't you do that in the first place? Spike cried. Spike, please! Twilight said as she placed her forehoof on Spike's chest. Okay, but this makes no sense. For once, he actually has a point. I don't know. What do you think?
It's just a little much for me to take in. How about we keep going?
Yeah. I blame the cutie mark, Starlight said, her eyes narrowed. It was always the cutie mark that made things different. That made Sunburst different. Tears started to well up in her eyes. Even when I became friends with him and I had my own cutie mark, he didn't need me. I was just a burden to... Ugh, this is stupid! Spike! No, Twilight, Spike said, as he crossed his arms in front of them and threw them to his sides. Just, no! This makes no sense whatsoever! A cutie mark didn't change Sunburst. He was always a jerk, and he grew up to be a bigger jerk. No, you don't understand, Starlight insisted. Before he got his cutie mark, he... Oh, please, Spike said. I just traveled through time where I watched the kindest, most gentle pony I know threaten to destroy me and Twilight. Twilight and me, Spike, Twilight corrected. Spike pinched the bridge of his nose. You're killing me here, book horse.
Like you have any room to talk, you fucking lunatic.
Yeah, he turned to Starlight. And this girl's had the same cutie mark. The Fluttershy I know would never say she was going to kill some pony.
Wait,
Starlight's
what?
eyes... He's talking about the timeline where Queen Chrysalis took over and Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie and everyone else were rebels of Zecora. Remember that?
Oh, right.
Starlight's eyes shot open wide. Fluttershy said that? I mean, okay, she betrayed me, because I guess she valued her friendship with you all more than my vision, but I can't imagine her trying to kill some pony. Twilight nodded. It's true. In fact, all my friends still had their same cutie marks, but their personalities were all changed depending on what happened to them. Starlight looked at Twilight and Spike in disbelief. You mean? Spike nodded. All it took was Sunburst getting his cutie mark and moving for him to stop contacting you. Heck, that was obviously a good thing. Just look at what happened when you followed him. Starlight's eyes began to narrow as her teeth clenched tightly. Now she's getting it. That stuck-up, neglectful, evil... She clenched her eyes tightly and her teeth tighter still. Closing her lips, she opened her eyes and turned to Twilight. I suppose this is where you give me a speech about the healing powers of forgiveness. Twilight simply said, Nope, I have a better idea.
The link here has a YouTube video.
God damn it, give me a second. Sound went out.
Alright, just give me a moment. I'm gonna check something real quick. Some people are messaging me still. Wait, what did he send me?
There we go again with a headphone jack. Sorry
your friend... No, wait, not your friend. You don't know Bonk Nickelton.
No.
No, well, somebody I know. He's sending me something.
What?
No Face by Leonardo da Cringy.
I'm not gonna question that.
I am not gonna either.
Anyways, as I was saying, Twilight simply said, Nope, I have a better idea. This is the actual musical cue in the story, by the way.
I can't even hear it. I might have to edit it in. Probably like
it was DMX's X gonna give it to you.
Let's just go on.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see how this supposed speech goes, shall we? And despite the fact that I've proven I'm the most superior pony here at the school, oh, fuck you, Sunburst. Really? Sunburst said as he stood at a podium in front of hundreds of gathered ponies. Starlight Glimmer sat front row and center, wordlessly watching. Up in the balcony, Celestia also... Oh, shit, she's here too. I know it's her school, but damn.
Let's see what's going on now.
Celestia also watched, doing her best to keep her an expressionless look rather than the deep, deep frown of disapproval she really felt. Well, at least she knows what's up. A female pink unicorn with her white mane coiffed upwards sat next to her, smiling wide. Next to that unicorn sat a timid-looking male gray unicorn with short black hair. Sunburst continued. It reigns true that I wouldn't have got there without the tireless hard work of one individual. Myself. Fuck you.
Please tell me that Twilight has done something about this. Let's see.
I'll get to that in a moment. Just hang on, folks.
Let's go.
To Celestia's great disapproval, a wave of chuckles went through the audience, including the pony sitting next to her. It's me whose hard work paid off. Only by myself was I able to achieve such great heights above my peers. Some ponies clapped, including the one sitting next to Celestia, who took the time to sharply elbow the pony sitting next to her. The gray pony sheepishly clapped along. Celestia looked downward. Enjoying the speech, Floribunda? Celestia said in an even tone. The fact that Floribunda was enjoying this was of no surprise to her. Floribunda nodded. It's rather reminiscent of my own valedictorian speech. Of course. And in court, as it says again, as Adam Sandler said, what an asshole!
Let's keep going.
It rather is, Celestia agreed dryly, contemplating if there was a way to somehow have a certain unicorn clear the distance between her and the pony at the podium and still make it look like an accident to the audience below. Floribunda turned to the male unicorn. That brings back memories. Remember how you used to follow me around and do everything for me? You would have been nothing without me guiding you. Celestia felt a chill run through her body. The gray unicorn seemed to go pale. Yes, dear. Celestia gave him a concerned look. Chance? Is something wrong? Shh! Floribunda said sharply. The young man is still talking. Yes, me and only me, whose sleepless nights of studying to be the best unicorn this school has ever. Boom!
2 booms. What's going on?
Sunburst jumped and turned. The wall behind him had just exploded outwards in 2 places. A much older starlight glimmer than he was used to seeing, and a purple alicorn staring at him with malice in their eyes. What? Starlight? Sunburst glanced down at the absolutely stupefied pony sitting in the audience in front of him. What the heck is... A blast of magic shot from the older Starlight's horn, catching Sunburst in the cheek and sending him reeling. Twilight quickly picked him up with her own magic and blasted him in the stomach. Sunburst hit the ground gasping for air. Twilight suddenly picked him up again, exposing his stomach to Starlight. Stupid horse apple-eating piece of garbage! Twilight cried. Stupid bastard! Starlight cried as she fired another blast into Sunburst's belly. Damn!
Oh, X is really giving it to him.
Yes.
I think she picked up the violence from Sunset.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that as well. Floribunda was a gasp. What's going on? She turned to Celestia. Princess, you have to do something! With a yellow glow, a wad of popcorn made its way into Celestia's mouth.
She's enjoying the show.
Oh, believe me, my little pony, I am. She turned past Floribunda to looking to Chance. Popcorn? She offered. She tipping a massive bucket of overflowing with white pop kernels towards Chance. Please, Chance said with a smile as he floated some over some of the popcorn into his own mouth. Starlight and Twilight took turns blasting the hapless orange stallion before Twilight roughly tossed him to the ground. He rolled twice before stopping on his back, his limbs sprawled out in all directions. Starlight leaned forward, a dark, satisfied grin on her face. Why? Sunburst exclaimed weakly. Starlight's horn glowed as Sunburst was pulled upwards towards Starlight's face. Because sometimes what you really need is for some pony else to pay a horrible price. Starlight roughly threw Sunburst back to the ground as her horn glowed once more. Sunburst let out a pathetic cry as he shielded his face with his hooves. Starlight looked down in disgust. Hawking a loogie right onto the beaten unicorn's burnt face, she looked up. Right, Twilight? To Starlight's great surprise, only Spike was on stage, having grabbed orange saddlebags with his shining sun on the front. Where'd Twilight go? Spike shrugged. She grabbed the scroll and said she'd be back. Oh. What? Starlight exclaimed. What could she be? Starlight was interrupted as the time portal opened up, depositing Twilight and a female orange alicorn with a flame-like red and yellow mane and tail and sun cutie mark.
It's Sunset!
And she's a motherfucking alicorn, bitch!
Ooh, well...
Hold her, Sunset! Twilight said. Starlight soon found herself being held in the air. Twilight, what is... No! Ah! Why? From the balcony, Celestia's jaw dropped, popcorn falling out of her open mouth. Sunset Shimmer? I have no idea what's going on, but I like it! That's your student, Celestia. Floribunda looked shocked. Princess Celestia, she said in a commanding tone, I demand you do some more! Floribunda suddenly found herself falling from the balcony, a fall that was cut short when she fell roughly onto the seats below. Celestia and Chance leaned over the balcony. Floribunda moaned, her legs now at unnatural angles as she twitched between a couple of the auditorium's chairs. The ponies around her looked down briefly, then back towards the stage. Whoops, she fell, Celestia said casually as she...
I will...
Oh, that's our sunbutt. Speaking of which, Chance nodded and magically grabbed some more popcorn. That sure was an unfortunate accident that happened. An in card once again said, boom, picka-laka-laka, boom, picka-laka-laka, boom!
Get there, the Gold Stoner! Gold Stone Stunner, Sunset! Wait, is it Stone Cold Stunner? There we go.
Stone Cold Stunner, Sunset.
Yes.
On stage, Twilight let up her barrage of magic long enough to shout at the slightly smoldering Starlight Glimmer. Do you know how terrible it was seeing my home destroyed time and time again? Oh shit, she was getting at Starlight. Holy shit.
Wow, this played right into her hands.
Not knowing which of my friends were still alive and which were dead? Starlight's swelling eyelids opened slightly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have... Ouch! The azure glow around Starlight suddenly shifted as she was smashed into the wooden floor of the stage. Sunset chimed in. Yeah, and that's for the front seat crack. Ho 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 ho.
The what?
Remember earlier when we saw Plan B, when Starlight went to the Equestria Girls world and she made that crack towards Sunset Shimmer?
I forgot. I thought it was mostly about Starlight, who somehow started,
It'll come back to you. Anyways, from the audience, a younger Starlight Glimmer let out a fretful scream. Twilight just turned and stared at her, leveling a forehoof. Don't mess with time. Terrified, the young Starlight Glimmer nodded her head up and down rapidly. Twilight turned to Sunset Shimmer. So, when did you become an alicorn, Sunset?
Ooh, that's what I want to know.
Sunset's eyes shot open wide. What? She craned her neck back to look behind her and notices the wings as she spread them wide. Holy shit! The younger Starlight sat in her seat, frozen in fear. She had no idea why a different version of herself suddenly appeared with an unknown alicorn to beat up her only friend, or why that same version of herself was just pummeled. On top of that, she was just issued a command, no, ultimatum, by the purple alicorn. Starlight felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see the same small purple dragon that had been on the stage earlier smiling at her. This is the younger Starlight, by the way. Hey, you want to get out of here? Spike pointed behind his shoulder, a claw and a thumb. I know the best donut shop in all of Canterlot, and I've never met another pony who could use a donut more than you in my entire life. Starlight stared at Spike in confusion-ish for a second. I can't just leave my friend... Spike shook his head. Friends don't abuse you like that. Friends stay in contact with you and continue to be your friends no matter what changes happen in your lives, or what changes you both go through. They do? Starlight asked in a genuine tone, as if the thought had never once occurred to her. Really? Yeah. Spike nodded and reached into the saddlebags, pulling out a wad of bits. They also buy you donuts! Hey! That's Sunburst money! Spike tightened his brow. And did you earn all of Sunburst money? Starlight gave Spike a sheepish look. Well, yeah. Spike thrust the money back into the bags and handed them to Starlight, who telekinetically put them on her own back. Here, I got my own money. Come on, let's get out of here before we're caught up in trying to fix this mess. Starlight hopped out of her chair and looked towards the stage as Spike walked away. Her older self and Sunburst merely lay on their backs, moaning in pain. Meanwhile, the purple alicorn was trying to calm down the orange one, who was having a most impressive freakout. Honestly, I think that's how Sunset Shimmer would really react if she ever became an alicorn for real.
She probably became an alicorn during Friendship Games when she decided to come, what was it, Dream something?
Daydream Shimmer, yeah.
There we go, thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, if she really did become an alicorn, like, for real in Equestria, I really think that's how she'd react. Anyways, donuts do sound good. My name is Starlight Glimmer, and I'm Spike, your new best friend. Starlight took Spike's claw, surprise written across her face. You are? Spike nodded. Yep. Don't worry, though. I know lots of other ponies who will be more than happy to be friends with you and teach you all about friendship. He glanced up at Twilight and Sunset. Most of them are a bit crazy, though. Starlight allowed herself a small smile. That's fine. I just don't want to be alone. Spike paused long enough for Starlight to catch up to him. He suddenly wrapped his arm around Starlight Glimmer's neck and gave her a hug. Aww. That's nice. Don't worry, Spike said. I'll make sure you are never alone ever again. Starlight's heart suddenly kicked into high gear, and she felt hot tears stream down her face. Thank you, she whispered. Spike broke the hug and smiled warmly at Starlight. Hey, don't worry about it. Come on, after donuts, I can teach you something else friends share. Okay. What's that? Spike smiled darkly. Revenge.
Why?
Let's see what happens next. Battered, burning, and limping, Sunburst threw open the door to his dorm room and threw himself on the bed. Starlight! He cried out angrily. No response. Starlight Glimmer, where are you? I swear I'm never going to speak to you again unless you... I'm here, Starlight said simply as she faded into visibility. Uh-oh.
What did Spike told her?
Starlight? Sunburst said inquisitively. He shook his head, anger bubbling back to the surface in an instant as he sat up slightly. Where did you go? How dare you just sit there while I was being brutally attacked by, well, you and an alicorn. Do you know what you're going to have to do to make it up to me? To Sunburst's surprise, Starlight's expression didn't change. In fact, she seemed to be completely unfazed by what she said. After a few seconds, Starlight finally replied, You're right. I should have done more. You're damn right you should have... I should have joined in blasting you. Yes, you should have... Wait, what? Sunburst, that was just his fault writing it, not me this time.
Whoopsie.
Sunburst jumped slightly as he heard his door close. This was followed by the click of it locking. He turned to see a small purple dragon looking at him with an ice-pick smile and crazed eyes. Uh-oh.
This is not going to end well.
He turned back to Starlight. Starlight, what? Oof! Sunburst was interrupted as a hoof smashed into his cheek. He collapsed back to the bed before he felt a tiny claw grab him and roll him over onto his back. Sunburst? Starlight said, her voice turning dark as a malicious smile crept across it. Allow me to educate you about something I just learned about friendship. What French? Ow! Sunburst was cut off as numerous pointy claws dug into his injured body as the tiny dragon suddenly landed on top of him. He looked up into a tiny face full of teeth and malice and swallowed hard. Starlight's smile opened wide. Friends share. The end.
Oh wait, I see more.
There is. Dear Mega Princess of Friendship, Twilight Sparkle?
Mega Princess?
I suppose congratulations are in order for you leading another pony into becoming yet another Princess of Friendship, though truthfully, the number of ponies who now hold that title is a bit ridiculous. Huh? Tartarus exists for a reason, Twilight. Alternatively, you could steer them towards a different direction than friendship. We don't have a single Princess of Sandwiches or Smoothies even. Princess of Pasta? None. She doesn't exist. Excuse me, I missed lunch.
Huh. I wonder who wrote this.
Please pass my well wishes to Princess of Friendship number 4, Starlight Glimmer. I know it's been a long and difficult road with her almost destroying the world several times over, especially after her relapse when her younger, alternate timeline self achieved princesshood with far greater speed and ease than herself. Despite my previous comments, her ascension is most welcome. No longer will the much nicer and cuter Starlight Glimmer, Princess of Friendship number 3 Starlight Glimmer, have to worry about being detained from her princess duties because she's too busy being hugged by Princess Cadence, Princess Luna, Prince Shining Armor, Spike, the other 5 Princesses of Harmony, the royal staff, the entire royal guard, local law enforcement officers, 4 dignitaries, and random ponies on the street. With this second Princess Starlight Glimmer, TMNA CSG POF number 3SG can simply move on to being hugged full-time. On further reflection, perhaps you should be the Princess of Hugs.
Let's just keep going. I want to see.
Also, it has come to my attention that you and the other Princesses of Friendship are still employing the occasional tactic of aggressive negotiations. It came to my attention when delegates from the Yaks showed up at my door covered in bruises and burns, and also weeping and groveling. Well, I'll tell both you and Princess of Friendship who's actually better at it than Twilight Sparkle, because she doesn't treat anything like a magic question Sunset Shimmer, then you two are going to get it. It being brand new towers added to your already giant castles, a collection of Yaks apologizing for their behavior and swearing they'd never threaten war on ponykind again has been one of the best things I've seen all century. It'll be many generations before any of the Yaks so much as whisper the word war in relation to ponykind. Sincerely, Princess Celestia. Luna! I finished my letter to Princess Twilight! Did you want to add... Well, of course it was a bit passive-aggressive. Can you blame me? Another Princess of Friendship. It's just too much. What? Oh, I'm sorry, TMNA Starlight Glimmer. I didn't realize you were here. No, don't worry about it. You know how grumpy I get when I skip a meal. It's not your fault. Twilight lacks the imagination to steer every unicorn with a name vaguely like her own away from the very thing that's her job. Besides, I'm changing your title. Now, Luna, you best let the Princess of Hugs go right now. Why? Duh, it's my turn. The end.
That was a hell of a letter.
Tell me about it.